Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Preeti Lunkad. This is our fourth series of Fitness Friday. Today's theme is hustle to strengthen the muscle and eat wise, drop a size. Exercise to be fit and not skinny. Eat to nourish your body. You are worth more than you realize. Fitness is 20% exercise, 80% nutrition, and 100% dedication. Your journey would be gradual, but consistency would definitely pay off. Most of us do exercise in one form or the other, but don't get results. So where do we get from? Our food habits. So to get all our concepts clear, today we have invited a sports nutritionist. First, I would request our president, Dr. Hemant Sonanis, to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Preeti Madam. अतिशय छान असा हा उपक्रम आपण करत आहोत थ्रू IMA Nashik. The goal is to increase awareness about the health, the fitness activities, and not only to increase awareness but to get some basics clear, knowledge update करणे. जसं आता डॉक्टर प्रीती लुंकड यांनी सांगितलं 80% exercise, 20% nutrition.
Wrong, reverse, you are saying it reverse. It's
Okay.
20% exercise.
80% nutrition and 100% dedication. So हे जे आपल्याला करायचं आहे, so lot of us are going out trying to do something and motivated and wish to do something good for their health and for their fitness. तर हे सगळं चांगल्या प्रकारे करता यावं यासाठी आपण प्रत्येक सेशन मध्ये काही एक्सपर्ट्स बोलत आहोत and they are guiding us on various things. तर आजचा टॉपिक हा सगळ्यात जास्त महत्वाचा यासाठी आहे because it is going to be useful and it is going to be important in each kind of exercise. And a lot of discussion has been taking place on our fitness group, veg versus non-veg, vegan versus veg, and what Dikshit versus small frequent movements.
Divekar.
असे बरेच पॉइंट्स आहे. सो आय होप Shreya madam will enlighten us on these questions. I have already posed a few questions in my introductory talk, and I'm 100% sure that this question answer session on nutrition is going to be immensely useful for us. Over to you, Preeti and Smita madam.
Shreya is a sports nutritionist. She is practicing since last 6 years in Nashik. She has been nutritionist to many Olympians, gold medalists, Arjun Award winners, and many Ironman. So let's hear from her. Over to you, Smita.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Myself, Dr. Smita Vaksawde. So let's start our discussion of today's session with the most important topic of the day, that is lifestyle modification. Shreya, as a doctor, many amongst us have sedentary lifestyle and don't have proper eating timings. So what lifestyle modifications would you suggest?
So first of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Preeti. Thank you, Dr. Smita and Dr. Hemant, for giving me this opportunity to enlighten all of you with regards to nutrition, fitness, and right eating. Because in today's world, we all have understood that how much your nutrition or eating well has played a role with regards to taking care of whether it's your immunity or your overall well-being. So starting directly with the question, it's pretty interesting because nowadays it's important us to make sure that whatever we are eating or whatever the kind of activity we are doing, it becomes our lifestyle. And it's not something that we are doing only for a month or two or maybe more than that. And, we are stopping it. So it should be more of a lifestyle, which you can do actually on a daily routine basis. I hope everyone is okay with me talking in English, or do you want me to use Marathi in between?
You can use mixed languages.
Mixed, okay, all right. So because my Marathi is not that great with regards to technical terms, so that's the reason why I asked. Okay, so talking about few of the important lifestyle modifications that one should do. Number one is move more. Okay, you all are anyways into some or the other sort of physical activity, but overall, if you see scientific wise or with regards to what all activity you're doing, it is actually helping you taking care of your overall health aspect. It's not only about immunity, it's not only about digestion, it's not only about the absorption of the nutrients, but to take care of your body's functioning, and plus to take care of your body composition. Because as we have seen that the obesity, diabetes, or the conditions that are followed with obesity is rising. Okay, and if you are not involved in some or the other sort of physical activity, then ultimately whatever food we eat gets stored and increases our fat percentage. So it's actually important for one to make sure that they're at least involved in some or the other sort of physical activity, which can be as easy as going for a walk 30 to 45 minutes, or some or the other sort of stretching exercise or body weight workouts, or maybe yoga, so that your body is in that consistency to make sure that your overall health is improved with the physical activity. So that's point number one. Point number two is focus on nourishing your body. Okay, because in today's world, considering our lifestyle, our work pattern, our stress levels, there's so many things happening around us. We actually eat just for the sake of eating. We actually do not consider that, okay, whatever food is there on our plate, what kind of nutrition it's providing us. Okay, and we always focus on the macronutrients, which are like your carbohydrate, protein, fats, and we do not really consider the micronutrients. In today's time, your macros as well as micros both have a major role to play in your overall health. Okay, until and unless if there are any sort of deficiencies, then ultimately that your body will try to tell you, and it will have long-term effects irrespective of whether you're doing any sort of physical activity or what kind of food you're eating. So always understand that which food or which particular recipe or meal is giving us what kind of nutrition, and make sure that you are not going overboard with regards to one particular nutrient. Okay, so that would be point number two. Third is one of my favorite points is like 3S. Okay, so it's basically your stress, sleep cycle, and screen time. As we are locked in, our screen time has gone up, and ultimately our stress levels have also gone up, because we are looking at the situation. We know that the cases are going up. There's every now and then some or the other news coming up. So that's the reason why our stress levels are also going up, and it ultimately affects our sleep. Okay, because at night we have got this habit of watching our phone or maybe TV or social media or Netflix or anything of that sort, which directly has an impact on your health. Why? Because if you have not slept well, next day your body tries to compensate it with eating too much, because your body has not recovered in the night. Especially when you're asleep, your body has an ability to make sure that you're basically recovering from the entire day's stress. And if you're unable to do that, ultimately next day the portion goes up, you start craving for the foods that are not required, and ultimately that leads to putting on weight and putting on fat. Okay, so make sure that these 3S are controlled in such a way that it is not affecting your health, and make sure that you add those 3S in your lifestyle. Next is stay away from fat diets. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions with regards to this, that keto diet, intermittent fasting diet, detox diet, all of those things. But considering the situation we are into, try and stay away from it, because if you are experimenting with your body, and if it's not done in the right way, there are micronutrient deficiencies. You will not realize it now, but over the period of time, if you're following any sort of a fat diet for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever the duration is, your body starts deteriorating with regards to the micronutrients. Okay, also it's something that we always look for when we want to have quick results. Okay, but let's not focus on the quick results, because the quicker you lose, the quicker you'll gain as well, if not stopped it, or if not weaned off correctly from those kind of diets. So make sure that you do not fall prey for all of these kind of diets, because ultimately it's not a lifestyle. It's not something that you can do for your entire life. Okay, next is small and frequent meals. Sir also asked that what should we do, like that's something which most of the qualified nutritionists recommend, or dietitians recommend. The reason of suggesting that is basically when we are fasting, or when our body goes on hunger strike, if you have not eaten for maybe 2 to 3 hours, ultimately your cortisol hormone is secreted, which leads in more fat storage, because your body goes in this dilemma that, okay, if Shreya is not eating for next 2-3 hours, where am I going to get the energy from? And that's when you start storing more and more fat, leading to all health related issues, and then compromised on your overall lifestyle. So make sure that you're eating frequently, so that there is a continuous source of energy that's coming in. Your body's metabolism goes on the higher side because it has a lot of work to do, and plus it is something that you can actually do for your life. Because I've seen in most of my clients that if they follow this for 2 to 3 weeks, after third week, body itself starts giving signals that, okay, now it's 11 o'clock, you need to eat, it's 4 o'clock, you need to eat. So it's not something that you need to keep reminding yourself about, and then you have to follow that for your entire life. And lastly, I would focus with regards to lifestyle is hydration. Make sure you're drinking enough of water, because considering the situation, there's so much of stress, there's so much of free radical formation that is happening with regards to exercise or our overall lifestyle. You need that to be flushed out from your body. So enough of hydration, either from water or any sort of drinks or juices, to make sure that your body is well hydrated. Your immunity is also pretty much important when we talk about hydration, and it is dependent on how well you're hydrating yourself. Okay, and your overall health is also perfect when you are hydrating well. So I think that's what I would suggest, total 6 points when someone is looking for a lifestyle modification.
Okay. Shreya, for the ones who are doing moderate workout, any
Mhm.
form, what nutrition would you suggest pre, during, and post workout?
Okay, so it's first thing is it's important to fuel, irrespective of whether you're doing a moderate, low intensity or high intensity workout. I never suggest any of my athletes or my clients to work out empty stomach. Okay, because there are higher chances that your body will start utilizing muscle glycogen and will end up losing more of muscle mass for the workout or the activity which you're doing. Okay, so quickly before workout, always remember you have a snack which has carbohydrate as well as moderate amount of protein. Okay, the simplest examples can be, you can start with as easy as like a fruit plus handful of dried fruits and nuts. You can start with a peanut butter sandwich if in case you're doing a moderate kind of an activity. A smoothie would be an excellent option. You can always have laddus. So in India, there's a lot of variety of things that are made, right? So laddus and chikkis are also excellent source just right before you begin with your workout. So 30 minutes before workout is something that I would suggest people to have this. During workout, it's important to hydrate. Okay, and if you're involved in a moderate type of activity, it's actually suggested you to have lemon water. Okay, for the ones who are looking for fat loss, that too unsweetened one. If the intensity goes up, or if you're involved in some sort of an activity which requires a lot of efforts, then in that case, regular lemon water or limbu pani, what we call it as, it's suggested to replenish the glucose as well as the electrolytes. And if you are fond of, or if you have known any sort of a sports drink, then I would suggest you to have 6% isotonic sports drink, which will take care of the hydration and which will also improve your performance with regards to the activity. And post workout, always remember to have carbohydrate plus protein, like I mentioned for the pre-workout snack. Reason being that most of the time we've been told that post workout you should have only protein. It's a myth. Okay, the protein that you're eating after workout, for it to get absorbed for the muscle synthesis or the muscle regeneration or recovery, you need a carbohydrate source. So the simplest thing that you can do is have a glass of milk, or probably you can have, maybe say if you're a vegetarian, if you're a non-vegetarian, you can have egg sandwich, you can have the same peanut butter sandwich that you've had, or probably you can do a fruit. If you're having a supplement, then a fruit and a supplement or a whey protein is something that I would suggest pre, during, and post workout.
Yes, Smita.
Smita ma'am, we can't hear you.
If someone wants to increase the endurance, what diet would you suggest?
So see, endurance is something that is not built over a day's time. Okay. So make sure that there is a combination of simple as well as complex carbohydrates. Okay. For number one is to make sure that you're recovering well from the immediate activity that you're doing. And number two is to make sure that there are enough of glycogen stores in your liver as well as muscle. Okay. Because endurance activity is a kind of workout or a kind of I would say sport in which you need long sustained source of energy. Okay, so it's not that you can just have a banana and go for it. If you're having banana with any other sort of a meal which will give you long sustained source of glucose, it is actually going to be beneficial for you for the enhancement of the duration and plus your sport. So complex plus simple carbohydrates is something which I'd suggest on a regular day basis in your diet. So to give you an example, probably you can have rice plus brown rice or rice plus your all your millets like jawar, bajra, roti, all of those things, so that you're getting both the combination. One thing which I always recommend to all of my endurance athletes is beetroot or pomegranate. Okay, so either in a juice form or if you're having it in a salad form, make it a mandate, because beetroot and pomegranates are rich in nitrates, which aids in vasodilation, and there is much better blood flow, much better oxygen and nutrient flow to your overall body, and that's how enhanced endurance. Apart from that, I always suggest iron rich foods. Okay, most of the Indians, I would say females, are iron deficit, so we need to understand to incorporate iron rich foods either coming in from dates, if you're a non-vegetarian, then meat liver, your ragi, natsni. You can also incorporate black chana, green leafy vegetables, along with vitamin C, because iron requires vitamin C for its absorption. So iron is also another nutrient which I would suggest. Coffee or caffeine is another important nutrient which I would suggest right before you begin with your endurance ride, so that you get that extra push and your metabolism goes on the higher side, which will eventually help you for the long sustained energy or the performance. Along with that, nuts and nut butter or the peanut butter, what we talk about, it's good in your essential fat or the good fats, what we call it as omega-3. That because fats is something that comes in the end when your activity has actually crossed more than 1 hour. Okay, that's when the fats will come in the picture to provide you energy. So you can definitely have nut or nut butter while you're doing any sort of an endurance activity. And I would suggest banana, because banana is rich in potassium, and it will actually help in taking care of the intracellular as well as extracellular sodium and electrolyte and potassium levels, and will take care of the hydration as well. So these are the things which I would recommend to be done on a daily routine basis for someone who's into endurance activity.
What recovery nutrition would you suggest?
Recovery nutrition, see, with regards to recovery, there are 3 major points that needs to be considered. One is replenishment of the energy that you have lost during that physical activity. Number 2 is to replenish the proteins as well. And number 3 is your hydration, okay, or rehydration of the electrolytes that you have lost during the activity. And of course, to sum all of these up, you need a good amount of rest, so that whatever food you've eaten or whatever nutrients you've taken, it's getting absorbed and your body is utilizing it well. So I would suggest, like I said, for the endurance as well, a combination of simple or complex carbohydrate. Maybe before and after your workout, you can actually have sweet potato or potato, which is going to replenish the source energy that you have lost. You can have fruits. Okay, pomegranate, banana, pineapple, these are excellent. Pineapple contains bromelain, which actually helps in releasing your, or improving your muscle soreness immediately after an intense session. You can also incorporate citrus fruits. Okay, citrus fruits and vegetables, because vitamin C is anti-inflammatory. Again, it is going to help in reducing the free radical formation. Apart from that, like I said, hydration wise, make sure that you're drinking enough of water or fluids throughout the day to replenish the electrolytes as well. So either you can have a sports drink or you can have a regular nimbu pani to take care of the hydration. And ginger garlic, one of the major and one of the very good foods for your recovery. So anyways, we incorporate that in our daily routine, food preparations. but doing it intentionally will actually help. And lastly, I would suggest turmeric pepper. So turmeric, as most of us know, it's anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antiviral. So turmeric has a lot of effect, but taken it with pepper actually enhances the absorption of curcumin. So these are the foods that I would definitely recommend. If you're a chocolate lover, then definitely have dark chocolate as soon as you're done with your workout for a better recovery.
Do you recommend any supplements, and how do we prevent any cramps during any longer activities?
Supplement wise, so yes, I do recommend supplements, but again, with supplements, like the name suggests, supplement. It's basically if you're not getting the required nutrition from the food, then only you need a supplement. So I do suggest supplement, but there's a lot of R&D that goes behind before suggesting any sort of a supplement. If you know that you are deficit in particular nutrient, if you have done any blood test or any other test, and overall if you know that, okay, my protein intake or my vitamin D or my vitamin B or iron, any of the nutrients are not met with the nutrition, then definitely I would suggest you to go ahead and have a supplement. But again, like I said, it needs to be approved by an expert. And if you know that, okay, you are able to meet the requirements from the food, then I feel it's not required for you to go in for any supplement, because it has its own pros and cons, and you need to take the calculated risk. So I would suggest that supplement can be an yes and no, depending on what are your goals and depending on whether you are actually deficit in it or not. And talking about muscle cramps, very interesting, because when I started running and when I did my second run, it was a disaster with regards to muscle soreness and not muscle soreness, sorry, muscle cramps. There are the reasons for muscle cramps is like I initially also said with regards to endurance or recovery, is basically when there is an imbalance between the electrolytes in the body. That's when there's not much amount of fluid or elasticity that is present in your muscle. That's when it starts to, I would say, have that cramping effect. And plus, along with that, if you're doing a strenuous exercise, or if you have not had enough of rest, or if there is a particular muscle that has been used over and over and over again, then that's when there are chances that you would get muscle cramps. The simplest thing that you can do is top up magnesium and zinc rich foods coming in from your dark chocolate, green leafy vegetables, seeds. If you're a non-vegetarian, then fish is something that I would recommend. Along with that, nuts is I would recommend for magnesium and zinc, because they are essential for your relaxing your muscle. Along with that, hydrate with the right sports drink, which will have 6% isotonicity, similar to your blood's pH, which will make sure that you're not either hypertonic or you're not goes in the hypotonic session, that you don't have too much of the drink or too less of the drink. And along with that, I would suggest you to have banana, because like I said, potassium, it actually helps in relieving or at least maintaining the sodium and potassium levels in the body. And another thing which I recommend is there needs to be a quite amount of research that needs to be done on this particular aspect. But I've seen this in with few of my athletes, is if you add baking soda to your sports drink while doing any sort of physical activity. So if you do that, it acts like a buffer, and it makes sure that ultimately the balance of the pH is maintained, and plus it relieves the muscle cramps as well. So that is something that I would recommend.
What will be your recommendation for fat loss and muscle gain? Any particular suggestions for belly fat loss specifically?
Wow, interesting. I think everyone today is facing this concern that, losing
Belly
fat and belly fat specifically.
Yeah.
So first we need to understand that what is the reason for it. Okay, why, or why your body is going under the tendency of putting on fat. Okay, either it could be because of stress, either it could be because of the lifestyle, what we spoke about before. Try and rule out those points first. Okay, second is go calorie deficit. If someone is looking for fat loss and muscle gain or muscle maintenance, you need to I wouldn't say eat less, but make sure that you're eating sufficient for the amount of workout you're doing, and plus as per your body's requirement. Okay, there's something called as resting metabolism, RM, or what we call it as BMR, basal metabolic rate. So if you know that your basal metabolic rate is maybe say 1200 kilocalories, then you ultimately know that your body is utilizing that many calories by doing nothing. And if you are adding 1 hour of workout, then you need to make sure that you add extra 500 calories for the workout that you're doing. And most of the time what happens is, because of our lifestyle or because we are busy and we don't have much time to eat, this calculation goes up and down. So instead of having, either we eat too much or either we eat too less, and that's when our body starts storing. So make sure that you go calorie deficit. Second is stop refined products, bakery products, pizza, burger, all of these unhealthy things, so that your body does not have a lot of work to do. And plus, as these are processed foods, ultimately, not today, but over the period of time, it will have some or the other effect. And the simplest thing which I would like to share over here is, whatever you put inside gets easily stored in your belly area, but it's the most difficult place to lose weight. Okay, so it's easy to store, it gets dumped easily, but then your body has to, or you actually has to do a lot of work while burning it. So that would be my suggestion. Then again, if you're doing any sort of physical activity, make sure you're in the 50 to 60% of your maximum heart rate zone. That's when your body starts utilizing fat as a source of energy and starts preserving muscle. Okay, it's another trick which you can play with your body. Like I said initially, also follow the pre, during, post workout meal. If you're not following that, your body will go in the negative balance and will start utilizing energy from the muscle source or the muscle glycogen. And that's when you will not actually maintain or increase the muscle, but the fat will remain the same. The muscle will start dropping. So we don't want that to happen. Like I said initially also, small and frequent meals. Don't give scope to your body to store fat. The longer the gap between meals, the body starts acting smarter than you are, and it will start storing more and more fat. So start eating small and frequent meals. Stress less. Stress is another factor which adds up to everything. And when we least expect it, ultimately, and we don't give much of attention to what we are putting inside, especially when we are stressed. So stress needs to be controlled. And lastly, I would suggest to have adequate amount of protein in your diet. Indians are mostly deficit in protein. So make sure that there is enough amount of protein going in throughout the day, at least 0.8 to 1 gram per kg body weight, to make sure that your metabolism is on the higher side. And plus, the activity that you're doing, the muscle mass is maintained with the enough amount of protein that you're eating. And protein also helps in improving your metabolism. So if your metabolism is up, ultimately your body will not have a scope of storing, and plus will utilize more of fat. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay, so you are in favor of
We have a lot of.
I'm in favor of what? Sorry?
Rujita Divekar, like you're recommending frequent meals.
See, I am not saying that I'm in favor of her, but this is the science which I've been taught, okay, which I've been practicing. I've seen results. I've seen people getting results with small and frequent meals. I've seen people doing intermittent fasting and getting results. I've seen people doing keto diet and getting results. So this is all experience that is talking. And I personally follow this regime. And I personally feel that it is something which you can do for your life. And you don't have to be dependent on any nutritionist for that matter. So that's how it is.
So you said no to bakery products, Shreya. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of fast food and bun maska lovers here. So what will be your take about cheat days or cheat diet?
So talking about cheat days or cheat diet, I personally recommend cheat meal. Okay, only one meal once in a day. And I know Nasikars, I know people across the globe, that if you have done a certain amount of exercise, 1 hour of extreme exercise, 10-kilometer run, 100-kilometer cycle ride, the immediate next thing that you'll do is go for misal pav, or you'll have pav vada, or you'll have something which is not cheat. Okay, because that's how you reward yourself. So my suggestion would be to not do that. Okay, I know your body needs that because you've done that much amount of workout or that much amount of activity, but it's not a proper replacement for what you have done. Okay, so we've already discussed that what needs pre, during, and post. I personally suggest cheat meal, which is once in a week. That too, if whatever I suggest, and if you are able to follow that to the T. So if you're able to make the lifestyle modifications, if you're following everything to the T, I personally ask all of my clients to send me pictures of each and every meal that they eat throughout the day, so that I know how much they are following and how much they are not following. So even if one day they send me a cheat meal, I'm like, okay, you deserve it. So that's how you need to have cheat meal, because mostly what happens is we take cheat meals or cheat days because we have done something good. Okay, and also sometimes cheat days or cheat meals are out of stress, out of some sort of a craving, and we try and not analyze it, that what could be the possible reason that we are craving for this particular thing. The another interesting reason is if there is a change in the weather. Now recently it was raining and everyone was having chai and pakoras for evening snack. So that shouldn't be a reason. If you have followed everything to the T, if you have modified your lifestyle with right eating, with right nutrition, with good sleep, less stress levels, with physical activity, then from my side you deserve a cheat meal. But if you have done a workout and if there is a weather demand and if you're craving for something, then that does not deserve a cheat meal. That's what I would suggest.
Okay. What are your views regarding keto diet and other diet myths?
See, honestly, like I said before as well, that these all fad diets, you need to understand why they were designed. Okay, like for example, keto diet, it was designed for people who had epilepsy. Okay, to improve the symptoms, to see improvements with their overall well-being. So we need to go a little back and understand the science behind it. Same goes with intermittent fasting or any other fad diet. I personally do not recommend it until unless my client comes to me, they're like, no, I want to do it. Okay, because these kind of diets that you follow, if you do it for 3 months, 6 months, if you reach to your target weight category, what after that? It's not given on the internet. Uske baad kya karna hai? And that's when we go wrong. And then we immediately switch back to our normal eating, and whatever weight we have lost in those 3-6 months bounce back. So we don't want that to happen. So I personally don't recommend it. If I recommend it, or if any one of my client wants to do it, then we do it in a more scientific way. And once we are reached our target body weight or body composition, there is a way of weaning that off. So you can't really, if you're doing a keto diet or any other sort of diet, you can't really, like one day, first day you're having keto and next day it's like, okay, chalo, I'm okay to have dal chawal roti. No, it's not done in that way. Every week there is one or the other 1 to 2 sources of carbohydrates that are incorporated to make sure that your body does not go in shock. And another thing which I would like to share with all of you all is, just because it gives you quick results does not mean that it is healthy. And like I said before as well, that there are possible micronutrient deficiencies that can happen with these kind of diets. So imagine, like, since childhood you've been told to eat in a particular way. Our major chunk of diet is carbohydrates and then followed with other things, and you are just completely changing all of that with keto. Imagine the kind of shock your body is going to go under. So just don't play with your body. You all are doctors and I don't need to tell you this, but just understand that, do we actually need it? And if yes, do it with the right guidance, rather than looking out on the internet and just following it, and then after that having some or the other sort of effects. Also, keto diet or any sort of these fat diets does compromise on immunity. So we don't want that to happen in this COVID era. So I would suggest to stay away from it as much as possible.
What would you suggest for any gastrointestinal disturbances like indigestion or constipation during the workouts or after?
During workouts, I would say understand that what have you eaten wrong, because if you're doing workouts and if you've eaten something which is too much before the workout, we all know that when we eat something, the blood circulation goes to your digestive organs, and when you're working out, the same blood circulation gets diverted to your leg or to your hand or whatever sort of activity you're doing. So try and keep a easy meal before you begin with the workouts. Okay, that's one thing I would recommend. And plus, along with that, make sure that you understand what is the root cause of it, whether it's on a daily routine basis or even with regards to before or after workout. That I would recommend. Incorporate, take this as a habit. Okay, make this as a habit that you're incorporating pre as well as probiotics in your diet on your regular day basis. Pre can be your pre is basically, like all of is like a feeding or a food for your probiotics. So that can come in from your apple, banana, ginger, garlic, flax seeds, all of these foods. Try and incorporate them so that your probiotics has enough of food that is coming in. And probiotics, very simple. Make sure that there is curd, buttermilk, lassi, chash, yogurt, all of these foods, any of these foods, I would say, at least once or twice in a day for better gut functioning. Because everything starts in the stomach, whether it's your weight gain, fat gain, whether it's any sort of a symptom that your body is trying to tell you, everything starts in the gut. Okay, so make sure that your gut flora is in good health. And if in case it's still, if it does not resolve, then probably you can have a supplement or a probiotic which has more strains or more CFUs of the bacteria, if it goes to an extreme. But let's start with the food first and then see how it is improving your overall lifestyle.
Okay, I think let's take a few questions from the audience.
Sure.
Veg diet or non-veg diet, a big topic of debate. Many sportsmen have turned vegan nowadays. So what's your take on it, Shreya?
See, most of the athletes have gone vegan because after watching that documentary, which is, I forgot its name. I don't. Sorry.
Yeah, I also don't
Game
remember
Changers. The Game Changers. It's on Netflix. Yeah. And everyone after that started going vegan. See, non-veg versus veg. All you need to understand is, if I am going vegan or if I'm going vegetarian or vegetarian or anything of that for that matter, what are the nutrients that I'm going to lack? Number 1, B12. Number 2, vitamin D, magnesium, zinc. Understand that which nutrients you're going to not get if you're missing out on all of these other foods. Okay. If you are able to take care of that via supplementation or via any sort of an alternative food, you're good to go. Okay. But if in case you're not able to do that, then irrespective of whether you turn vegan, vegetarian, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, your performance will not increase. Okay. So all you need to understand is, what am I going to miss if I go for any of these kind of diets? I personally don't suggest it until unless I see that, okay, there is a requirement of going vegan, or or if it's a client's wish. But as a nutritionist or as a sports nutritionist, it's my job to take care of the nutrients that a person is going to miss out on, especially when they go vegan or any other sort of eating habit. Okay, beetroot and pomegranate juice at what time? So it can be, beetroot is generally suggested 1.5 hours before you begin with your workouts, so that it helps in the, there's enough of time. And as per research also, it has been suggested to have at least 1 to 1.5 hours before. Pomegranate can be had immediately after you're done with your workout as well, for the better recovery aspect. What is the best energy drink for diabetic person who regularly do cycling? So I would suggest to have lemon water. Don't add sugar. You can add stevia, or you can add jaggery or honey, so that whatever glucose or whatever sugar that you're getting in, definitely it is getting utilized for the cycling that you're doing. So that's what I would suggest. Or else you can go for the commercial sports drinks that are available in the market, which are specifically designed for endurance activities. So that is something which you can definitely do.
Okay. One more question. Doctors who are above 60 to 65 and are practicing, what diet would you suggest? Like a doctor had called me up and told me to ask this question for her.
I would first of all get the entire body checkup done, okay, to understand if there are any sort of nutrient deficiencies, if the cholesterol levels, or if liver, your heart, kidney, all of those are functioning well, okay. Same thing I would suggest to everyone at every age. Small and frequent meals is the funda, because that's what is going to keep up with your weight and plus your overall well-being also. Like I said, again, you need to understand whether if you have any underlying health conditions. If that is so, then ultimately there are few modifications that you need to do. Also, additionally, for elderly population, I would suggest to have enough of protein, okay, because with age, metabolism goes down, your digestion process and overall your body processes slows down. So you should have enough of protein as well as vitamins and minerals, vitamin D, calcium, iron, which will enhance the digestion and absorption of the foods that you're eating, and plus will take care of your immunity as well as overall well-being. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay. There's one more question. What veg recipes would you suggest for pure veg to make up for the deficiency which they like while not eating non-veg?
Anything related to soya, milk related products, paneer, if you can get hands on tofu. And to be honest, dals, pulses, legumes, all of those are anyways enough. So you don't need to worry about the nutritive aspect of it. So even if you are able to incorporate milk related products, pulses, legumes, उसळ आपण जे म्हणतो, जे आपण anyways regular day basis वरती add करतो. So उसळी झाल्या, soya झालं, rajma, chole, all of these things, sprouts, these are anyways enough to meet the requirements of an vegetarian person.
B12 also would be taken care of.
B12, I would suggest to, if you know that your levels on the lower side, then I would recommend to have a supplement. If not, then make sure that you're having enough of green leafy vegetables to take care of the B12 levels as well. Yeah. Wow, there are a lot of questions.
Many questions are
Yes,
coming.
yes. Two more questions. What is your take about night?
Sorry, I couldn't get you. What is my take about?
Fruits at night.
No,
Fruits.
I would not suggest. No, fruits are something that you should be having like a midday meal, which is like a mid-morning or mid-afternoon or mid-evening snack. Because if you're having it at night, there will be sudden spike of insulin level and glucose level. So that is not recommended as soon as you're done with your dinner, because there'll be too many things happening, and plus your body will have a tendency of storing it as fat. So fruits always best to be had as midday snack. That's when they'll get absorbed and metabolized well.
Is it okay to have sugar-rich fruit like mangoes
Sugar-rich?
and grapes?
See, no food is bad. Honestly, if there are a lot of people who have listened to me before as well, and I always say this. This is like my go-to mantra, that no food is bad. Where you go wrong is how much to eat and at what time to eat. If that goes for a toss, then ultimately you know that your body is going to store everything. If you want to have mango, recently I suggested one of my client to have mangoes, and she's been posting photos every day of mangoes, and I told her, please give other fruits also chance, so that because she's completely enjoying mango season. So definitely you can have mango. Like I said, you can have it as a snack at 11 o'clock and at 4 o'clock when the hunger spikes up. With fruits, one takeaway is sprinkle cinnamon powder over it, dalchini powder, so that it contains cinnamaldehyde and there is no sudden spike of glucose levels or insulin levels when you have fruits. So all fruits are good, all foods are good if you are eating it in moderation.
Any homemade items that you would suggest during any multi-day event like cycling?
Yeah, for sure. Laddus, dried fruits.
Homemade food items.
Yeah, homemade. So homemade dry fruit laddu, besan ka laddu, rasgira laddu, til chikki, or even your chana dal chikki. All of these things you can definitely have in between your back-to-back. If you're doing any sort of an event. Along with that, what else can we suggest? Fruit smoothies for sure. If you're making milk-based or yogurt-based smoothies, even that is something which you can take with you for longer ride sessions, or probably when you have back-to-back workouts. So my simplest is your laddus and chikkis are the best option that you can have, and even handful of dried fruits and nuts. That's easy to munch on and get going with your activity.
Someone
Okay,
has
my
asked
comments
correct
on
heart rate while running.
correct heart rate while running. Oh, there's a formula for it. So you either contact me or you Google heart rate calculation.
Okay.
Someone said my comments on Dixit diet versus frequent meals. People claim to lose weight on Dixit diet and gaining on frequent meals. So it's nothing like that. Honestly, I'm not here to criticize anyone. I go with science. Okay. Definitely, Dr. Dixit has made his own research and he's recommended it. But I've also, along with me, I would say a lot of other nutritionists in our fraternity have observed that people are actually putting on weight back after they stop Dr. Dixit's diet. So, like I said initially, also, it should be a lifestyle. It's not something that you'll do for 3 months, 6 months, and then bounce back or get back to your normal eating. The concept with frequent eating, or why you are gaining weight, or why there is not change in your weight, is because with frequent eating, your body has a tendency of maintaining or increasing your muscle mass, because when you step on the weighing scale, it's your bone mass, your fat mass, and your muscle mass, and plus your water weight. So if there is not a change with regards to your weight, then ultimately it's that probably you're losing fat and maintaining muscle mass, which is reflecting on the weighing scale. So you need to understand that exactly what are you losing and what is actually showing up on the weighing scale. Okay, exactly. Difference between sugar, jaggery, honey, benefit wise, please explain. So there is no difference, honestly. The difference is that if you ask me calorie wise, all are same. Sugar will give the same calorie as of jaggery, as of honey. The only difference is from where it is extracted and the processing. The processing of honey, jaggery involves other nutrients as well, as compared to sugar, because sugar is something that is refined. There is no other nutrient that comes into picture, versus if you say jaggery or honey. So that's the reason why it's always a best alternative to sugar, because if you're having too much of sugar, then ultimately we know what happens in our body. So that's the only difference that I would like to share. What is your suggestion to break the weight loss plateau? Understand why you have reached that place. Okay, either you're doing something wrong, or either that your body has stuck with regards to the food strategy or the nutrition strategy that you're following. All you need to do is either change the strategy, okay, or tweak your workout schedule, okay, or make sure that understand that what exactly has happened. So these are the three things which I would like to enhance about, or talk about, that understand why you've reached to that phase, and try and change your diet a little bit, so that your body is not, or your weight is not at a plateau. What if every 2 hour eating is not possible? What is the alternative to do that? Any other backup? So try and do that would be my suggestion. If it's not possible due to your lifestyle, the second most researched and I would say well showing results is intermittent fasting. If you're not able to eat every now and then, and if you want something which you can do to lose weight or for your overall health, then probably you can go in for intermittent fasting. But that's the ultimate solution that I would give. That's not something which I would recommend for everyone to do. raw versus cooked vegetable salad versus sprouts. So raw versus cooked vegetables. So cooking actually involves so they said that sometimes there are a couple of nutrients which can be lost because of cooking, but there are certain vegetables which you cannot have raw. So I wouldn't say that I would suggest to involve in such cooking methods that will not lead to loss of more nutrients. Okay, and talking about salad versus sprouts, both are good. Okay, salads are anyways rich in fiber, same as with regards to sprouts. Additionally, sprouts will give you the proper protein as well as the amino acid profile. So I would suggest both are good. There's no or and if with salads or sprouts. Post COVID diet. I have actually, if all of you guys are on social media, Instagram, Facebook, you can check out my Instagram profile and my Facebook profile. We've done a wonderful information about pre, during, post COVID times. We've also educated people about vaccination, that which vaccination you should go in for. So I've added a couple of points over there. Post COVID, it's important for you to improve the lost energy. So like I said, small and frequent meals with energy dense options. Okay, eat everything. That's what I would recommend. Eat more of citrus fruits to bump up the vitamin C, to bump up the immunity. Hydrate well. Okay, so that your body does not have a tendency of basically removing the toxins. So hydrate well is what I would suggest. Turmeric pepper, excellent for your for your better recovery. So at bedtime, make sure that you're having a glass of haldi doodh, which will help in the recovery from COVID. So these are the few things which I would recommend. Rest of the things which I think I have missed, you can definitely check out on my social media. Oh, how many questions can we take? Because there are a lot of you.
Two more. You choose any two.
Okay, all right. So I would like to choose this one, that what can we do for sweet tooth? Very interesting question. A lot of people have need some sort of sweet as soon as they're done with their meal. Sweet tooth or sweet cravings immediately after a meal is directly related to magnesium deficiency. Okay, so have a dark chocolate as soon as you're done with your meal. Make sure that with curd you add manuka raisins, you add chopped dates, so that you're compensating with the sweet cravings. You can have any sweets that is made out of jaggery or honey. Okay, which will at least make sure that you're getting your sweet cravings are sufficed. Okay, if you want to have any sort of a dessert, replace the unhealthy ingredients with the healthy ingredients, so that you are not going overboard with the quantities, or at least you're satisfied with what you're eating. So that's what I would suggest. But make sure that your magnesium deficiency is corrected with the food wise, as well as if required with the supplement wise, so that ultimately the sweet cravings or the sweet tooth is taken care of. Okay, I'm going to take a last question, that if we have dinner by 6 or 7, can we have fruits eaten around 9 or 10? I wouldn't recommend fruits. I would suggest you can have something like roasted chana, futane you can have foxnut, which is fool makhana. You can have dried fruits and nuts. Okay, but fruits is something that I would not recommend. Have a combination of protein as well as complex carbohydrate after you're done with your dinner, or have a glass of milk. Even that would help to take care of the excess of hunger that you have after the meals. Well, there are quite a few messages that I've got. I would suggest all of you to either message me on my social media, or I don't know. I mean, ma'am would be the best people to let you all know that how can we correct, or how can we, take care of the other questions.
So few takeaways that I would like to share from Shreya's discussion, that the lifestyle modification should be easy. You and your body definitely deserve a cheat meal or a cheat diet once in a week. Then go for traditional eating and not trending. Allow your body to rest and recover. Incorporate proper hydration habits. Create healthy eating habits and not restrictions. Then 3S, that is, keep away the stress. The sleep cycle should be proper and the screen time should be less. Then take baby steps with food.
Yeah.
There is no no to fruits at night, and sprinkle cinnamon on fruits whenever you have it. Regarding the sweet cravings, you can have sweets made out of jaggery or honey. Anything else you want to add, Shreya?
No, I think you've covered most of it.
Regarding banana, there is such a myth. Even when I used to go to gym, the trainer used to tell, "Ma'am, do you want to put on weight? Why are you having bananas?"
No, it's not like that. So you have to play with the food. If you want to have your favorite foods, have it before or after your workout. So your body is utilizing it properly. You have to be a little smart enough with the food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shreya, for the nice session. I would request our secretary, Dr. Kavita Gadekar, to speak a few words.
Thank you, Preeti. Diet is something, more is always less. How much ever we try to talk on it, it is always less. We always have queries at the end of the session. In fact, this session was very enlightening. Many new tips we have received. Live to eat or eat to live. So moderation is the key, and healthy habits is the key to the lifestyle, or the dietary lifestyle. So this session was in fact a very nice session which we had on diet. Diet वैसे तो basic ही है, पर फिर भी every time we have something to ask, something new knowledge, new tips we keep getting. So thank you, Preeti and Smita, for coming, and the fitness team to come up with this topic, which was essential, especially now that in COVID times everybody has started workout and have become conscious, having this get some time to look towards themselves. And thank you very much, Shreya madam, for enlightening us with your lecture. Thank you, team IMA, for conducting this session, and the audience to participate in this session. I thank our technical assistant Pallavi madam to have such a smooth session without any interruption. Thank you all, and over to you, Preeti.
Thank you, Kavita. Thanks, Shreya, for the nice session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me. It's been a great pleasure. And this is the
Same here.
time when we should be together, and we should take care of ourselves and our health, so that, we are safe with whatever condition we are into. So it was a small contribution from my end.
Thanks from IMSL.
Thank you, Shreya.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and take care.
Yeah.
Yeah.